first tonight. Hazmat crews from all across our area responded to a chemical leak this afternoon in Rock Island. The chemical was so strong that it was burning through the concrete there. News 8's Christy Mergenthal has the latest.
It was just before 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon when hazmat crews were called to the Rock Island water treatment plant for a chemical spill coming from this tanker truck.
It's a corrosive agent that the water treatment plant uses, and there was an overflow that caused spillage out from the building onto this driveway behind me.
As plant employees evacuated, crews began suiting up, working quickly to stop the leak that had begun eating through concrete.
And they stopped the leak using some earthen berms with dirt, sand, and some commercial boom equipment, and had it contained pretty much to this facility within a short amount of time.
The chemical hydrofluorosilicic acid is used to add fluoride to the plant's water. Although it poses a burn risk to skin, those living nearby were in no immediate danger.
And we obtained a very remarkable curve, which you can see here perhaps. Here is the fluoridated, and here is the non-fluoridated set of 10 cities each. Here's where the fluoridation started, and before this time, both sets of cities were identical. But no sooner had fluoridation started than this curve began to go up. The deaths began to increase, so that this effect occurs very promptly within 1, 2, or 5 years.
Now this, sir, is conclusive evidence that fluor kills because of cancer.
It is one of the most conclusive bits of scientific and biological evidence that I have come across in my 50 years in the field of cancer research.
Would this then, in your opinion, be the end of fluor in water, in drinking water?
It should be the end. And in the United States,
we're developing a society because of all of these different toxins known to affect brain function. We're seeing a society that not only has a lot more people of lower IQ, but a lot fewer people of higher IQ. In other words, a dumbing down, a chemical dumbing down of society. So everyone's sort of mediocre. That leaves them dependent on government because they can't excel. We have these people of lower IQ who are totally dependent, Then we have this mass of people who are going to believe anything they're told because they can't really think clearly. And very few people of very high IQ who have good cognitive function who can figure this all out. And that's what they want. So, you can kind of piece it together as to why they are so insistent in spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars of propaganda money to dumb down society.
Now, most Americans are, when it comes to income taxes, they have the psychological ailment. It's called cognitive dissonance, which is a psychological ailment which says that if you have a deep-seated belief of something and somebody tells you something that's contrary to that deep-seated belief, you reject it. You don't even consider it. It's like throwing a ping pong ball against your head. So many Americans believe that they're required to pay income taxes that even when the commissioner says it's voluntary, doesn't even penetrate. You're going to find out why it's voluntary in a minute. And what is self-esteem?
Putting this stuff in the drinking water is, in essence, just a hazardous waste management tool. It has nothing to do with dental health whatsoever. It has to do with defending the reputations of people who have been promoting fluoridation for years and years and years and now find themselves way out on a limb and have nothing more to say except safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, when in fact it's neither safe nor effective, but they can't change. They're riding a tiger and can't get off. Somewhere between 200 and 500,000 tons of scrubber liquor from the phosphate fertilizer industry is now being managed by putting it into your drinking water system. There's got to be a better way to do it, to manage that stuff.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear today to present the views of the union on the issue of fluoridation of public water supplies. Our union represents the staff, scientists, lawyers, and others who analyze hazard, exposure, and economic data and advise management how to use them in public health protection. I'm not here today to speak for EPA, but rather the union, founded 17 years ago to protect EPA workers from unethical pressure by EPA managers. It was on that basis in 1985 that we first got involved in this issue. In 1997, we voted to oppose fluoridation, and our opposition has grown stronger as more adverse data on the practice has come in. In the interest of time, let me state our recommendations first. We ask that you order an independent review of the cancer bioassay of sodium fluoride mandated in 1977 by Congress. Evidence for carcinogenicity in that assay was systematically downgraded by a special executive branch commission appointed and run by the very agencies that Congress did not trust to run the bioassay in the first place. That action saved fluoridation temporarily.
What an ECMO machine is?
No.
So an ECMO machine is a machine that is used to keep a body alive when the heart and lungs are failing.
Okay.
And so it takes blood out of the system, it oxygenates it, and puts blood back. Actually, knew somebody that had been hooked up to one of those things, and it's not a fun thing when you're dying and hooked up to an ECMO machine. China, if you say you're a dissident, you're a Falun Gong, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, and you get sentenced to, say, 7 years in prison for being a religious follower, and you won't stop. They'll type your blood, they'll sequence your DNA, and they'll give you an ultrasound in your organs, and you go on a match list. If that match comes up, they'll hook you up to an ECMO machine, hook your body up to an ECMO machine. They'll give you an injection to paralyze you, and they'll have a surgeon come and remove your organs, put them into somebody that's come in for hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy your organs, to have it put because they need a heart or need a liver or need 2 kidneys or whatever. And when they've taken all the organs out that they can use, they'll throw the body in the incinerator. So when we do things like equate that kind of behavior with, say, the social challenges that we have in the United States, then it shows a fundamentally misunderstanding of the difference between a democracy and a totalitarian regime. And that's what I find so infuriating about what the NBA is doing, because that kind of behavior, that's the kind of behavior that Hitler was doing. That's the kind of behavior that existed in Stalin's Soviet Union. That's the kind of behavior that the Chinese Communist Party is doing today. You can go look it up on the UK Tribunal on the forced organ harvesting of prisoners of conscience. Summary reports there, final reports coming. They've interviewed hundreds of people.
We could prevent, tens of thousands of cancer deaths every year. If half of the country ate a single more serving of fruits and vegetables, which like prevent 20,000 cancer deaths a year. That's how powerful plants are. People don't understand. Whole food plant-based diet is more powerful than anything we have in medicine when it comes to some of these chronic diseases. An ounce of prevention is worth more than